Right, we are here testing breakouts, and we're going to be using this one in particular. So we're in an uptrend. We're looking at parabolic session, parabolic days. Um, it can be bullish or bearish, either way, just flip it over for bearish. And essentially just pushing on with the trend, okay? Breakouts, we're looking for, this is the ICI, this is the impulse, the correction, continuation. The characteristics are that we are in an uptrend, we're breaking out, and we're pulling back. So 9 a.m., 9:30 dumps. So we're looking for that dump. And it doesn't need to be exactly within the box. It's going to be just about outside of it, dump outside of it into it, so on. But this is the sort of thing we're looking for. Okay, so let's get into today's gold chart. As you can see, this is exactly what we got today. We had plenty of bullishness in the market. We were breaking out of the London highs. We were already in a bullish market condition, breaking out on the weekly, the daily, and so on. So we're clearly in an uptrend. There's the prior week's highs, and as you can see, peak formation low, breaking out, and all we're doing really is just stepping up. All right, so it's a market that's impulsing, correcting, continuation, but you've got these impulse corrections. It's just a staggered stairs on the up, going up. Okay, so that's the sort of conditions that we're looking for. This was a Monday as well, helps to be on a Monday. Do not catch from Mondays and so on. And then, as you can see, this just broke out. And reasons being it didn't continue is because if you look on the weekly volume profile, that's actually a weekly volume profile high. I'm not going to get into that now, but this here is our setup. Okay, so taking out the London highs, dumping into the Wall Street Open, and then continuing out. So ICI, impulse, correction, continuation. Now, if you look on a 5-minute chart, it's looking as though it's somewhat later on. I mean, we do have this sort of impulse, correction, continuation, but that's in the grand scheme of things. In the nitty gritty of it, it's actually occurring inside of the box. So we dump into the low, okay, and then we get a secondary impulse, and then we get that pullback to retest the VWAP, and then the continuation. Okay, so however you want to look at that, but it's essentially it's a series of zigzags. Okay, just keeping it. We could call it a 5-way job, couldn't you? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay, so you can look at it as a 5 count, or you can look at it as an ABC, ABC, or how that works, ABC. A, B, C. So call it what you want. I call it an ICI. You can call it an ABC. Let's keep it as an ABC then, universally. So ABC. That's what we're looking for. In an uptrend, and then an ABC. An AB within the box. Okay. So the 0, you want to dump into the 0. And that is the start of the Wall Street Open from a low. So you want a low, ideally, well, you want the low as 0, ground 0. A, B, C is the breakout leg that we trade. So let's get into that then. Okay, so here is one. We have the impulse, correction, continuation. This has happened just outside of the box. Later on in the day, the breakout occurred. I can't see anything. I can't remove this thing out of the way. Around about 10:30, 10:45, the breakout. But as you can see, dumping into the Wall Street Open, dump, right, coming out. Unfortunately, I can't get this side into replay mode, but on the left we can. Nevertheless, right, so we're breaking out. You've got everything bullish. It's an uptrend. Okay, we're breaking out of the 8-hour. Impulse, correction, leg C, breaking out. Dump into the open. Impulse, correction, continuation. Gets to our target just about 100% range expansion, and off she goes. Okay, moving over to the next day. Now, it can be a parabolic day or it can be a parabolic session. So we've got here fake out low, 1, 2, 3 pushes, several pushes to the low, working the low. Asia, London, and then we've got prospects here of sort of the death line, closing price, a move higher. Okay, reversing into the downtrend. Not an ideal template, but one nonetheless. And here we have the ABC. So pumping, dumping down. Bear with me. So what does that look like on the 5 minutes? What have we got? It's a bit complicated, this one. Bear with me. Coming from outside, but there's the dump. And it's almost all of this is the C leg. But then we can have the dump. Okay, over here. So we'll have the low to the high. B, C. So dumping into, yeah, that's better. Dumping into the box, pumping up, pulling back to retest the VWAP or the prior VWAP lows from the prior day. Resistance support over here. It's essentially an ICI impulse or ABC inside of an ABC, which was confusing me to begin with, but there's the impulse correction continuation or ABC, ABC. So it's an ABC within an ABC. picture. Okay, so that worked out. I'm not sure if it worked out actually. Got the breakout, and we just had to hold on to that for the day, I suppose. Yeah, so that worked out. Here's one in a downtrend. Or you can almost do it as though it's here. Bit shallow that kickback, but it's not. So there's one nonetheless, breaking out, taking it on the out. The key thing is that we're below that, breaking out of that market. So I'd actually prefer it if we it's a little bit tricky, this one. Not sure how really to play that. On the 5-minute chart is the inside scenario, but it's a bit shallow. I'd rather have a decent kickback than if it's just taking it out. You've got 3 wicks up, lower highs. What does it look like on the 3-minute chart? Of course it's going to mess everything up. Shouldn't be there. Yeah. Okay. 3-minute chart. Nicer looking. Thereabouts. Okay, it's a bit awkward, this one, but it's clearly a scenario where we're topping out, death line set up, pumping back up into the breakdown level, impulse correction continuation, ICI, ABC. So it's an ABC within an ABC. So take note of that. Plenty of occurrences when you get them inside of one another. Here is an ABC. So dumping down, just sort of continuing really. So this here is just dumping down, looking like that. Just waiting for the breakout. So you've got the B leg at the VWAP, that's the key thing. So the dumping into the Wall Street open, the pump out, doesn't have to come all the way up here. Doesn't have to be like that either. It can be a shallow, and then just taking this leg as we break out of the 8-hour candle, and then you're always looking at the 15-minute chart to see how the candles are aligned. So you can see here, fake out low, breakout of H8, take it off the bat, 10 a.m. In this case, it's conflicting anyway, so it's not a setup, but just for the schematic. That's going to dump up, and you're taking the breakout. Nothing crossing. This one here, maybe. Already got you. There's a trade. But essentially, you've got that A, B, C leg, and it's not breaking below structure, so you're bullish above the breakout level, bullish above A. So that's another way to play that. Although it's not really ideal, it's not quite at our 10 a.m. slot. Don't really want to be taking stuff over here that's just sideways, but just for the schematic, for the sake of the ABC, that is a bullish box scenario. Nothing there. Okay, so that brings us to the month from the current 21st of July to round about the same of June, going back. So that's gold. Let's have a look at silver. In fact, what we'll do is we'll keep this video around about 20 minutes. I don't want to keep this too long. And we'll do more of these across different assets in separate videos.